was a Scottish wrestler living in Ireland at the time called Chick Cullen. His name was Frank Cullen. World of Sport, he was known as Chick Cullen. So I used to use him as a referee in some shows here excuse me, here in Ireland. So he wrestled in Stampede as Robbie Everett, I think it was. Robbie Stewart, that's it. Correct me, I'm wrong there. So we had Stampede Wrestling here in Ireland on Screen Sport for a couple of years, 87 and 88. And there was some amazing stuff in Screen Sport. So, you know, I don't think at the time, I thought to introduce you as a guy who wrestled a few former Stampede wrestling heads to Chick Cullen. But yeah, I found it quite interesting for me watching it as a kid to have some of the wrestlers off over here. I know you didn't wrestle for Stampede now back in the day, but you would have wrestled Jason the Terrible a lot, wouldn't you?
Yeah. We did a program with him, and he was kind of retired. He hadn't been working. And when Top Rank Wrestling started up and when Clint started that, we were kind of running out of monsters to, you know, and we wanted someone really fantastic, right? And they brought him in with another guy, Machete Singh, and he was dressed up as an inmate. And these guys were legit monsters. Like, they could have been on any stage, in any ring with any promotion, and would have been monsters. You know, Jason came out with his mask on, and it was my first time working with a guy of that caliber, with that kind of history. Like, he broke in, what I've been told, he broke in Chris Benoit. So, you know, I was like, holy shit, you know, like, holy cow, like this, you know. So we're talking about the match, and he said, yeah, and he said, then I'm going to hit you on the head with this chair. And I was like, what? He was like, that chair. And it was one of those metal frame wooden chairs.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, hey. And he's like, no, kid, it'll be all right. He said, let's go in the back and practice it. I said, you want to what? You want to practice this? You want to practice hit me on the chair, hit me on the head with that chair? He's like, it's going to be okay, kid. And we went in the back, and he's like, this is how I'm going to do it. And he went bong on top of my head, and I felt it right to my toes. It was just like a bong like that, right? I was like, he's going to kill me. Like, this will be my last, he's going to kill me. In the match, he hit me with that chair, and I went down like I was shot. I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. Like, I never even felt it, right? And then we got a picture taken with that chair after. It looked like it had been hit with a cannonball. The chair was like, seriously, there was shatters and splinters through the other side. I was like, and it was all like warped. All the legs were warped and all that stuff. I was like, holy cow, right? But it was awesome, you know. And it was one of my first big compliments I ever got in my life. He came over to me after the match, because we were in the match. He's like, okay, kid, hit me, give me a little hit in the belly. And I went up, boom, and he goes down. He's like, I said a little hit, right? And so we're kind of having a little chuckle. But after the match, he came over to me. He said, man, I've been around a lot of places. He said, I've never been manhandled like that in my life. And so to me, it was a little bit of a compliment coming from a guy like him.
Excellent. And his name, he always wrestled as, was it Karl Moffat? Is that
Karl Moffat, yeah.
Karl Moffat.
Yeah.
So yeah, here in Ireland, like in Irish Whip Wrestling, I've had loads of Canadians in. I had to say, I actually like Canadians. I always found most Canadians, sometimes some of your French Canadians can be a little rude, but still good people. I've had a ton, yeah. I've had yourself over Vid Van. I've had the likes of... I'm drawing the blank here now. Randy Dupree, Carl Oulet, lots of guys from over there. Drew Onyx, Green Phantom.
Drew Onyx is a good guy. I met him at a show one time. He's a good dude.
And I've had Portia Perez. She was Canadian. She was from Ontario, I think it was. Who else have I had? I've had Scotty Mackin. He was in, I think, the tour before you.
Yeah, right before me. Yeah.
Was Kenny Lush. He's from British Columbia.
He's from my neck of the woods too. Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a lot of Canadians here over the years. All pretty good. very quickly, your NWA title, that you won that from Kerry Brown.
Kerry Pitbull Brown, yeah.
He's an ex-Stampede wrestler as well.
Yeah,
Canadian
there's some real lineage behind that belt, and that's what I was. And whatever reason they picked me to bring it to the West Coast, I don't know why. I'm sure there was probably some politics there too, but I remember at that event and having some pictures taken, and Jarrett, he sees me with the belt, and he looks at me, and he's like, "This is what he said to me. That's what a champion's supposed to look like." And another great compliment, right? And I remember getting ready for this match, and Kerry Pitbull Brown, he's like the most friendly, outgoing guy in the whole wide world, saying hello to everybody. Meanwhile, I'm over there just pacing, right? I'm getting more and more built up in my head as this is the thing I do. I'm like a tiger in a cage, right? I'm just pacing. Kerry comes over and he puts his hand on my shoulder. He's like, "You're not going to hurt me, are you?" I was like, "No, sir, not at all. I'm not going to hurt you." But I'm like busting at the seams here, right? If we don't get out there soon, I'm going to like implode. I was just like, so I was like, "Okay, calm down, right? Bring it down." And that's what Kerry said to me. And Kerry's biggest bump that he took in that match, outside of a couple of slams and my finisher, was actually him going through a table on his own, right? So I wasn't going to hurt himself. He was going to hurt himself, right? We had a great match, and that was a lot of fun. And I felt very honored. Not even so much about like walking around with a belt, but they trusted me with that title. They trusted me with that lineage. And I picked it up off a guy like Kerry Pitbull Brown.
He was the nephew, I believe, of Bulldog Bob Brown, another well-known Stampede wrestler.
Yeah.
You ran your own promotion the two of you did. You had Victoria City Wrestling, and you promote shows in Newfoundland, and you promote shows in Vancouver.
Yeah, Abbotsford, the Fraser Valley area, just outside of Vancouver. Ours was called Top Ranked Wrestling. I think we ran for about 3 years, over 50 events. A couple of our events taped video live for KVOS. We're actually at Trevor's show in Victoria Island. So
yeah, what we were doing was because I was running shows. I was like, "Hey man, here, just take the show," right? So I had a guy over there that did the video and all that stuff, and I just gave Clint, my buddy, my partner, just gave him the video for it, and it was just extra matches that he had for Top Ranked Wrestling.
And you had TV as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we had KVOS every Saturday at 1 p.m. We tried to bring back the Stampede Wrestling era. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Our ratings weren't quite as high as we thought they would have been, but it is what it was. We were such huge Stampede Wrestling fans back in the day, and we wanted to have a tight show that showed athletic athletes, giving her and trying to make it as real as possible, and kayfabe as well, but it was kind of past that point in wrestling.
No, and even when you talk with Stampede, I found it funny that you guys had Stampede Wrestling over here. We didn't have it in Newfoundland.
Well, AWA, did you have AWA?
I had Atlantic Championship Wrestling, and then later on when cable came in, we had WCW, which was pretty awesome to see. I was watching the Freebirds and all those guys back then, right? So it was pretty cool.
We were very lucky in Ireland at the time because there was a bit of a cable TV was new, satellite was new, and WWF was hugely popular at the time. So all these stations had to compete with each other, and you had all the promotions. That's why we had Stampede, AWA, NWA at the time. There was Glow, there was GWA, I think it was, out of Florida. There was loads of promotions. Japan, we were spoiled, but it only lasted for, I think it was maybe 3 years we had all them, and then it was gone.
We didn't have any of them.
So, you think returning to wrestling? You're officially retired from wrestling?